Hey everyone, it's Shauna. Well, autumn is finally set in. It was a cold rain this morning. It's still in the 40s here late afternoon. Definitely a great day to make chili.
So for our chili, what we are going to do is start off with bacon. Why bacon? Couple reasons. Number one, I have some that needs to get used up. Secondly, the bacon grease is going to be wonderful to cook our peppers and onions in. So you can hear the bacon starting to sizzle a little in there. Gives me time to cut my peppers and onions. You could use olive oil, but like I said, I wanted to go ahead and make good use of the proteins I have. You can see I've taken a yellow pepper and an orange pepper and carefully sliced those. If you slice right down here in the indents all the way around, just we follow the curvature of the pepper, you can leave the seeds behind. If someone has endoverticulitis, this is crucial. So I have my orange pepper and yellow pepper here in with the bacon. I mixed it around, everything covered with the bacon grease. Reason I use different colored peppers is to make the food colorful. And when it's bright and colorful, it automatically looks tastier. So I've thinly sliced one white onion, large white onion, added that into the pepper and bacon mixture. Just going to let that cook down a little bit, caramelize some. I also added a little salt and a little pepper to help the caramelization process, draw out some of the water.
Now, some people, when it comes to chili, are purist. Peppers, onions, meat, tomato base, and kidney beans. I'm not a purist. I tend to add in whatever extra veggies I happen to have around and use them that
So
way.
what I'm doing right here is I have an ear of corn I placed right over a gas burner. I'm just going to keep turning it slowly. It's going to give a wonderful little char to it. Then I'm going to take the kernels off the cob and add that into the chili mix. Now it really doesn't matter if the corn gets completely cooked because it will finish cooking in the chili. This adds a wonderful level of smokiness to it. I do want to point out that this is not something for children to do, nor is it for adults without a pair of metal tongs. So here's our corn nicely charred on the outside. You can also do this with peppers, tomatoes, just got to be careful. And like I said, it simply adds a wonderful smokiness to it. I'm going to take the kernels off and add them on into the chili. So all I've done is taken my corn cob, hold it upright, then taken my knife and gone straight down the side, not cutting out the kernels. If I had another cameraman here, then I could show you how I was doing it and do it live. Well, by a video. So I'm going to take and add in my charred corn here to the chili and mix that on in. And by the way, I'm using a flexible cutting board because this way I can easily pour things into my cooking.
So let's talk for a second while things are finishing cooking. Endoverticulitis is a condition where a person cannot eat seeds. So if the person you'll be serving this with or sharing this with has that condition, leave out the seeds, leave out anything that might contain seeds.
So I removed the peppers, onions, and corn to a separate container for right now. Add in a splash of olive oil and 1 pound of ground meat, or you could also use textured vegetable protein. Either way works just the same. You probably also noticed I'm using a metal whisk to help here break up my meat. It makes it smaller, and this way it's going to get all that nice, wonderful brown coloring and tasting that we so desperately want. Remember, the object of the game is to add flavor. So it's been a couple minutes here. My heater's on medium, and I was getting some wonderful brown coloring here in my meat. So I added 1 packet of commercially available chili seasoning. Why reinvent the wheel if you don't need to? Object of the game is to make it quick. So I added a little salt and my veggies back into it. It's about time for the magic to begin. So as you can see, I've added a few things. First off, I added a container of sofrito. You can get sofrito in the international aisle of your supermarket under the Latin section. It's a tomato base with onions, green peppers, chilies. Wonderful addition. I've also added in one 28-ounce can of Roma tomatoes
And this will be the regular tomato base for this. Just going to let it now simmer for a while and then enjoy that wonderful flavor. Let's take a second to talk about where we're at. So far it's taken roughly an hour to get to this point. So not a half-hour sort of meal. Still, weekend is perfect. Handle is here away from the edge of the stove. This way it won't be knocked over by accident, causing burn. I also have my splash guard on top of the wok that I'm using. This will help keep tomato sauce from going everywhere. And while it simmers here for the next half hour, I have time to wash my dishes and get things cleaned up. So I've taken this off the burner, taken the lid off here. As you can see, it is nice and thick. It is ready to be served, and you can do it in a number of ways. In a bowl with cheese on top of pasta. You can melt cheese into it as a dip.
So as you can see, there are lots of options of ways of how to serve chili. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to cook enough pasta for tonight and serve the chili on top of the pasta. The rest I'll let cool and I'll save for another meal. So my pasta water is coming to a boil. I have liberally salted it. As the starch molecules of the pasta open up, this is when you have the one opportunity to season the pasta. Always salt your water.
I've drained the pasta, cooled it down, and it's now here plated. I've also plated the chili on top of it. I put on some Parmesan on top. If I was just having a bowl of chili, I'd probably use cheddar. I don't know about you. Looks pretty good. So until next time, here's cooking with you. Have a good night.